Just set it.
Hello, beautiful creatives. Hold on just a second. Thank you, Sweet Pea. I appreciate you getting that for me. My amazing, wonderful, and beautiful daughter, Gwendolyn, was just grabbing my brushes for me and some water because I forgot to grab that. So she is my assistant extraordinaire around here. I'm going to give it just a minute and then I will introduce myself, show you supplies, and then we'll get going making our butterfly carving today. So let me know in the comments as you post. Please just post in the comments. Let me know you're here. Say hello. Let me know you can hear me okay. All those good things. Hopefully everything is working. It's always fun to try to figure this out, all the tech behind the scenes. So yeah, welcome. I see we have a couple of people watching already. Thank you for being here. Let me know in the comments, where are you viewing from? I know we have people from all over the world that are in here, and I would love to say hello to you. So we will just give it another minute. It's 11:03, so we are right on time. I got my butterfly headband on. What do y'all think? Isn't that pretty? That was just totally coincidental when Tara Lynn had said we were doing butterflies this month. I was like, oh, that'll be fun. And I opened up my door where my hair stuff is, and I was like, oh, I have a butterfly headband. So I've been waiting all month to wear it because I am geeky like that. I'm like, oh, butterfly. Cindy, hello, welcome. Thank you so much for being here, Cindy. Are you excited to make a butterfly stamp? I'm going to show you how to carve a butterfly stamp. Super simple. We're going to keep it very simple today. Nothing, too complicated or crazy or anything like that. We're just going to keep it nice and simple so that you can learn some of the basics of stamp carving. And then once you know, well, there will be no stopping you then. You can go to town with it. But for today, we'll just do a nice, simple butterfly. And then I'm going to be working in my art journal to make my small art. I can't remember what size. Does anybody remember what size the mini art was for the bingo? I meant to check and I forgot. So mine is, I don't know what size this is. I guess it's probably a 5.5 by 8.5, I think. So I'm going to decide that's mini. I think Tara Lynn will be okay with that. So if you're creating with me, who's playing butterfly bingo? Raise your hand. Let me know if you're playing butterfly bingo. Has anybody gotten any bingos yet? Have you been making lots of butterflies? So excited to see everyone's. Okay, so today, first off, thank you for being here. My name is Michelle. I am with Inner Journey Studios, where I help women like you create more art in your life and find time for yourself to do so. And today we are going to be working on, because it's butterfly month, we're going to be working on 2 of the butterfly squares that you can earn. One was the mini art, and I think the other one was using a stamp. Oh my gosh, I had this in my mind and then it just went. So somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you could use a stamp or a stencil for one of them, and one was a mini art. So I am going to go ahead and let you see my other camera. Hold on. I'm so fancy here. Y'all check this out. Double camera, what? I know, let's just pull this up. Okay, so here's my studio view. Pardon the mess, but I am an artist and this is what I do best, I think, even more than making art is making a mess with my art. Raise your hand if you can agree with that one. Here's what you're going to be needing today. Something to create your art on. So like I said, I'm going to be working in my art journal. Mine is a 5.5 by 8.5, I think, or something close to that. I'm going to say this is a mini. Hopefully, I'm not wrong on that. If you want, you can always cut it in half or whatever. Use what you have. Use a canvas. You can use this technique on a canvas, a greeting card, a loose piece of paper, whatever you have, use that. You don't have to use an art journal. I just am working on filling up 3 of these this year. So I'm almost done with the first one. So you're going to need something to create your art on. This is optional, but I like it. I have this mini cutting board. I am fairly certain that I got this one from Dollar Tree, the dollar store, for $1.25 or whatever it was. So it doesn't have to be expensive. You don't strictly have to have this for stamp carving. I just like to work on that to protect the surface I'm on. So that is that. You are also going to need a couple of basic supplies. All right. Now, keep it simple. Doesn't have to be anything elaborate. I'm going to be carving on an eraser. You know, these just white high polymer erasers. I get mine, I buy them by the dozen on Amazon just because it's cheap, but they have these often at the dollar store, at your local grocery store, Office Depot store, whatever. So these work really nice. You can use, I've seen people use the red stamps or the pink stamps also, not stamps, I'm so sorry, erasers, the pink erasers. I personally find those to be not as stable. I find that they just don't hold together as well. So I like the high polymer, the white ones. I find these really hold up well for stamp making personally. Use what you have though. So I'll be using one of these. We're just going to make a mini stamp today. I did want to show you though that there are other things you can buy for stamp making. So I often carve on things like this. This is from Speedball. It's their Speedy Carve line. And this is I'm going to say it wrong, linol, I think is what it's called. Let's see if it tells me on here. It does not. I think these are like a linoleum, something like that. But it's a block for carving and it's made specifically for that. These work really well. Oh my gosh, it's like carving in butter when you use these. The stamps work great, or the erasers work great for these small stamps and they're easy to carve. But then when you try something like this, it's like butter. It's like carving through butter. I love these. So this is a brand name. These, $7 for one. They're a little pricier. Obviously, use your coupons or whatever. This, however, I recently got on Amazon, and I think I got a dozen of them. They're a little thicker. It is stamp carving. That's the material it's made for, stamp carving. Same type of material, a little different than this one, but I mean, for my purposes, it's the same. And it was cheap, y'all. I don't remember what I paid, but it was cheap for 12 of them. So I've got like a ton that I can use with that. So these are just some other, and I always save my scraps because, hello, I can use that for something. So I just wanted to give you some options that you can get for your stamp carving. Now, you can use paint. If you don't have inks, you can use paint. I personally like the Ranger archival inks. Oh, let me get that in there. Oh, wrong way. There we go. Can you see that okay? Let me know in the comments if you can see this well enough to figure out what I'm holding up. So this is an archival ink, acid-free, permanent, waterproof. Love these. I love the colors of them. They come in a ton of colors. I have a couple of them. You can get them at most of your craft stores. You can see the beautiful colors they come in. You can buy them on Amazon. I think that's where I got mine. Y'all, I love Amazon. Like, I put in what I want and then it's at my house, and I love that. So, use what you have. You don't have to use these. I know many of you probably have like Stampin' Up, or you have Color Box, or some of the other well-known brand names. Use what you have. This is just what I like for stamping. And then you're going to want to have some sort of, I often use note cards, but some sort of paper. You're going to need that for transferring your stamps. And I'll show you how to do that process shortly. So that is that so far. Okay, you're also going to want to have a pencil for doing your design with. I'll just leave that out. And then I like to have markers. I have a thicker tip one and a thin. I think I have the blue because I couldn't find my black at the time. And I'll show you how we're going to use those. Okay, is that, oh, and of course, hello, you need a carving tool. You need something to carve with. This is, I think, the one that many of us get the first time out. It's the Speedball. This one works great. It will last you for years and years and years. It's easy to use. Pro tip. I love this. I think I shared this with a friend of mine and she's like, what? Because when you get this, it comes with all kinds of tips and you're like, what am I going to do with those? Well, check this out. I love this. How clever is this? The end comes off and you have all of your blades in there, all of your tips. And it comes with 5 usually, I think. And then when you're done, you just pop them back in here. Now, some people, if they get really into carving, they will buy 2 or 3 sets of these. And that way you can keep your blades on and not have to keep changing. But if you're just starting, one is going to be plenty. You can, again, you can get this on Amazon. You can get it at your local craft store. Use your coupon if you're buying it at the craft store. I don't remember how much they cost because I've had this forever and a day, but they're fairly reasonably priced. The other thing you can do, and I don't have a sample of it, but you can take a pencil. When I taught this to my Girl Scouts a gazillion years ago, this is what we did. We took the eraser out. I can't get it out easily. Anyway, we took the eraser out and then you squish this metal part together and that will create like a little U shape that you can use to carve with. Listen, that is a little rudimentary, like you're not going to get any fine carvings with it, but in a pinch, you can use that. All right. I think that that's what we need for the actual stamp carving. Let's see. And I wanted to share with you, first off, if you have gotten if you are playing Butterfly Bingo, this is in April of 2023. So if you're watching this after that, this may no longer be a thing. But if you are watching right now, live or on replay in April of 2023, and you got a Butterfly Bingo, reach out to Tara Lynn and ask for your goodie pack because in it, I have created this really cool digital art pack for digital art journaling, and it's all butterfly themed. How fun is that? And I've printed mine on some sticker paper so I can just stick it in my journal. I've also done it on regular paper. And then sometimes I do mine on a deli paper also, or a vellum. So you can use that. And I show you that because I'm actually going to be using a little of this today in my journal. But again, use what you have. If you don't have that, that's okay. If you are watching this on a replay a year from now and you're like, oh my gosh, I want that, just reach out to me and I can probably make that happen. I love the digital art kits. It makes art journaling so fun and so easy. Let me know in the comments, does anybody have this already? It's the Butterfly Vibes. Did you get your art journal kit yet? Let me know if you got this. I would love to hear. Good morning. If you are joining me live right now on Facebook, I am on StreamYard. It's an app right off of Facebook. I use it all the time for streaming. It does not tell me who you are. It just says Facebook user, unless you give Facebook permission to show me who you are. So if you would like me to see who you are, and I'd love to see who you are, just look at the link in the description of the video, and it should say grant something like grant StreamYard permission to use your name or something like that. Otherwise, it's okay. I don't know. Oh, Gail. Hello, Gail. Oh my gosh. We got like the A team here today. All right. So real quick before we get started, I did want to show you just a few things. These are just some little stamps I carved recently for a stamp carving challenge. These were made from an eraser. So I just want to show you how fun these can be. I did these little circles, which don't seem like much, but they are so much fun to just add some texture to your art. And then I did a little sandpiper bird. How fun is he? Little beach themed. And I did an anchor. I had a beach theme going on. So the bubbles, you know what? I bet the bubbles must have been my like little bubbles in the ocean. And then I did some little waves. I love those. One of the things, I guess I don't have it on that, for any of the stamps that are ambiguous, make sure you put an arrow so you know what way is up when you're stamping. That way you don't get confused with it. And then I won't show you all of these, but I'm really especially proud of these because these took me a while to do. I actually did an entire alphabet set of stamps, the whole alphabet and numbers. And I had so much fun doing these. And I have to tell you, using these is like such a rush because I made them. And I show you this because you can do this too. How cool is that? Like there are so many things you can do once you start stamping and making your own stamps. So let's go ahead and let's lay the foundation down in our canvas or art journal. That's where I want to start. I'm going to do an abstract piece. And all that means is I'm more focused on the stamp carving today, but I also want us to be able to do a little bit of art using our stamps. So I'm going to just personally use a little bit of the sea breeze. I'm just going to do like a very basic background, nothing fancy. Just going to do some stuff here. Never get the ones off of these. Hold on. Somehow over the ages, my fingers got delicate, I guess. All right, let's put this on here. And then let's add a little bit of a primary blue on this also. That'll be pretty. So this will be my foundation. I'm going to just do this. Oops, that was more than I wanted. I'm going to do this really quick, and then I'm just going to let this set and dry while we carve our stamp. I got a lot of paint in here. Let's open this up, and I can use both pages. All right. So I'm just going to put some over here. Anytime you get too much paint or you have extra paint, I actually just love adding that to another art journal page. So that way I'm not wasting it. And then I've got a page started over here. I'll add more to it. This won't be all there is, but I just kind of clean off my brush on there. All righty, set that there. Now, I'm going to just set this aside because we don't need that right now. I just wanted to get my first coat down. We'll add some collage paper to that in a little bit and do all kinds of fun stuff. So where are you all joining me from today? I am in Florida. I'm in Central Florida near Disney World. I'm by the House of the Mouse. Oops. Lost some light there. Sorry, guys. There we go. And every once in a while, I knock my light out. Can you still hear me? Sometimes knock my microphone out too. Mississippi. I love Mississippi. That's a beautiful state. Oh, Dallas, Fort Worth, Cindy. I spent so much time there. Back, how long ago was that? I guess that was like 10 years ago now. But I used to do henna professionally. Well, I still do, but not as much as I used to. And I would come to the Dallas Fort Worth area every year for Third Coast Tribal Convention, which was all belly dancers. And I would do henna and I would teach henna. And it was the best thing. It was every January. I did that for like 6, 7 years, I think. It was a while. It was a lot of fun. Okay, so let's get our supplies out. I've got my pencil, I've got my thing here, I've got this here, and I've got some paper. So I'm gonna undo my eraser. Honestly, I think this is the hardest part of this whole thing. Does anybody else ever have challenges wrapping off of things? I guess this isn't near as bad as kids stuff. So happy my kids are older and I don't have to unpackage kids. Oh, what happened? I don't know what happened here. Hold on, guys. Here we are. Hold on just a second. I think, let me turn airplane mode on. Oh. All right. Hopefully that will fix it. I'm so sorry about that. Apparently a call was coming through and it took my camera out. So sorry about that. Hopefully I fixed it. Now, what I like to do is I'm going to take my, whatever I'm carving with, I'm going to put this down and I like to just trace around it. Super simple, right? Simple, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. All right, now I want to decide, like I said, we're going to keep it simple today because we just want to get the basics of stamp carving. Let me bring this a little bit closer. Let me know if you can see this okay. Just pop in the comments and let me know that you're able to see this fine, hopefully. Now, a butterfly is basically a line, like an oval, an oval, an oval, a little squiggle, right? So, but of course we want it to be a little fancier, but if you're worried about doing a butterfly, that's all it is. Super easy to draw this out. So I want to start by drawing and I don't want to do it too big because this is an odd shape, right? So I'm going to actually cut this in half. And I'm just going to use half of this because I think that will work better for the proportions. Oh, thank you, Cindy. I appreciate you letting me know. All right, so now I'm going to just draw a very simple butterfly. I'm going to just bring his body down a little bit. I'm going to do a little squiggle. So I just brought it up and then a little dip and then back down. And I'm going to try to mimic that. And I'm going to say that's close enough. And then I'm going to bring this one down. And right where that point is, where this part of the wing meets the body, I'm going to start my next wing. A little point, and I'm going to bring it right back up. Let's get that a little bit cleaner. Okay. Now, I'm going to say that is probably good enough. I am okay with that. I am not going to put the antenna on. Now, depending on how you're doing this, you totally could do the antenna. Let me make this a little thicker so you can see it hopefully better. But I'm actually going to carve around my butterfly so that I'm not going to be like carving it out inside. It's not going to be an outline. It's going to be a block. And then what I figure I will do as the artist, because we're all artists here, is I'm going to add the antennas in with a marker or paint or something like that. So this is going to be my butterfly. Now, when we get ready to transfer it, we need to remember that this is going to be reversed, right? So it's going to go down like this and then stamp. I am good with how that looks. So we are going to just do this. Now, I'm only worried about the outline of the butterfly showing. I don't feel like I have to color it all in to know where it is, but I do want to make sure that I have a lot of graphite on here for this technique. You could also, those of you that do a lot of acrylic painting and you work with transferring designs onto canvas, you could totally use transfer paper to do this also. Just remember that you want the design reversed when you carve it. So, for example, when I made, let me see, let me get a letter that would show. Okay, when I did the C, if I were to carve it like this, as you're seeing it right now, when I go to stamp it, it would be backwards. I mean, I guess the C you could turn around, but you know what I'm saying. Oh, and this looks like it's my U. Same thing. It's all good. So we're going to pretend it's a C. So when I put it on my carving block, I actually have it like this to carve around so that then, wait, is that right? Yes. Transfers like that so that then when I carve it, it's like that. I hope that makes sense. If not, it will in a minute. All right. I feel like I might be overcomplicating this. Sorry if I am. All right. So we've got this. I'm going to put this on, right? I'm going to put this on here. I'm going to go like this. And now I'm going to just color over because I've got that graphite. And like I said, this is if you don't have graphite paper. If you have graphite paper, go for it that way. And let me know in the comments if you have any questions so far. Look at, oops, how cool is that? Look at our design. Now, the next thing when you do this, we need to know what we're carving. I'm going to be real with you here for a moment. It's really easy to think that, oh, I know what I'm carving. I don't need to mark it. Like, I'm good. I got this, but then we get tired or distracted or, confused or whatever. We get in the zone sometimes, and then we start carving things we don't want to carve. So I like to mark mine. I'm going to use the blue because it's a thinner tip. I already know that I want to carve everything around here out. Okay, I want the butterfly to be solid. So I'm going to go ahead and color my butterfly in blue so that I know the only thing that I'm carving is the white. Anything blue is not going to get carved. I might have to change my color. Can we make it? What do you guys think? Are we going to make it? I think we're going to make it. It does not matter how you do that. You could do it reverse. Anything white doesn't get carved. Anything blue does, then you would color the outside blue, just so you know what you are doing. Okay. All right. So now I have the blue I am not carving. The white I am carving. So now it's time to set up our stamp. I like to lay these out for myself. And some of this is just a matter of trying these out and seeing what does what. Now, I want to start by, sometimes I'll use an X-Acto knife, but I don't have one near me right now. So I'm going to use this one. And here we go. It just sits right in there. So you loosen it to get these to fit right in there. And then you tighten it to keep it in there. So I'm going to use this as I would an X-Acto knife. I'm going to actually cut this part off because I don't want to have all this extra while I'm trying to work. All right, and then I just set that aside. All right, so that's the first thing I like to do is just cut off what I already know I'm not going to use. And actually, let's cut a little off the top here. Let's talk some basic knife safety here because carving, I mean, these are blades, these are knives. I know we're all smart and I know y'all are capable and probably know all of this, but I like to go over it because sometimes when we go from using a knife to using something like this, we're like, oh, yeah, this is no big deal. Or we look at this and we don't think that's sharp. Well, this is super sharp. This is like a knife and it will cut you badly. So when you're carving, always carve away from yourself. Don't have your fingers in the way. These will slice your finger. So keep your fingers out of the way of the blades. I mean, really, that's the basic of safety. Keep your fingers away from the blades. I figure that sums it up, right? And just know these are really, really sharp. So I'm going to go ahead now that I've got that. All I do is loosen this. I know this has a name and I don't know, but we loosen that top part. We carefully, because remember, this is a blade, so we don't want to touch the edges of it. I carefully take that out. And now I'm going to take a look. This one is a number 1. The number 1 is super thin. I do not need that right now, but I am probably going to want, let's try the number 2. And actually, let's go ahead. Let me show you a little bit on how these work so you can actually see them. Let's start with the number 1. So you already saw how I use this. You can use this for different things, but I often use it just for cutting. So I've got my number 1 in. And this one, remember, keep my fingers out of the way. This one you can see it cuts a pretty small amount out. See how thin that is? And you can see like the groove is very thin. So that's the first one. And the numbers are on the back. They're pretty, I mean, they're engraved in, so they're kind of hard to see. But you can also just, I mean, you look at that and you know that's going to be pretty small. And then this should be number 2. This also is a basic set. There are some fancy sets out there that are a lot pricier that can go like micro thin, which makes the one I just cut look really thick. I mean, there's some amazing ones out there, but this is great for getting started. So we're going to hold it down. Got it flat, hold it down. Number 2. And you can see now that's a little thicker. All right, I'll just lay those out. I hope this is interesting for you all. I know I love doing the carving and it's so much fun to play around with. This is the number 3. This gets quite a bit thicker. And then number 4. Now, number 4 is the one I generally use on bigger stamps when I have, especially if I have big areas I'm trying to get out. Oh, I'm sorry. This one is number 5. I wonder if this is number 4. Nope, that's 6. All right. So the numbers jump around. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. I wonder if I'm missing one. No, it's possible. You can see that's quite a bit thicker. Actually, not a whole lot, but it is. So you can see the difference, whoops, right there in the grooves, right? And let's, just so you can see them a lot easier. So as you're carving, keep in mind, there we go. I don't know if that helped at all. Keep in mind what you are carving and what you want to, what your goal is in carving that. Like how big do you need your carver to be? So we're going to start, I think, with a 2 to start around the outline of the butterfly. And you let that sink all the way down. Let me know in the comments. Are you carving with me today or are you just watching? Love to know if anybody has already carved before, also. So take it easy, go slow. This can be really, really relaxing and meditative. And what I do is I get the groove in there. Whoops, there we go. Sorry. Let's see. Can you see that groove inside there? I like to get that groove right up against my line. And you can see I angle it just a little bit. And then I bring it down in there. Keeping my finger out of the way. That's the hardest thing, y'all. It is so hard not to want to do this because you have a better hold of it. But you really want to make sure that your fingers are out of the way. And then I'm just moving around. So I'm starting with the outline of the butterfly. I just want to try to get that established. And if I can't get in somewhere, like that's a little too narrow for this one to get in comfortably, I just leave it. I'll come back with the smaller one in a minute and get into those places I couldn't. I found this to be so relaxing. Guys, just taking a breath. Oh, Cindy, I'm so excited you're going to try this later. Please, please, please. I would love it if you would tag me with whatever you make because I definitely want to see it. I know I've heard that from a lot of people. They're like, I have these and I've never used the tools. And I think sometimes we just need that little encouragement to do it. I don't, and Cindy, I don't know why you haven't used them. I will tell you my experience with some of this kind of stuff is two things. I get intimidated because it's something new and I don't really know how to do it. Um, okay, thank you so much. I can't wait to see what you do. Definitely tag me in anything you make because I love, love, love seeing what you guys make. So usually it's either because I'm intimidated, I get a little overwhelmed at trying to figure it out. Like I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know. Or I'm afraid. And sometimes with knives, it took me a long time to do this stamp carving. I had mine for quite a while before I actually did it because I was kind of a little afraid. I hate to even admit that, y'all. I hate to admit that. I like to feel like I'm fearless and I'll do anything. But sometimes I'm like, I don't know. So, anyhow, Cindy, I'm so excited you're going to give it a try. You will not regret it. You will be super excited. Now I'm going to go ahead and clean up a little bit. I'm going to take, I've got the number one now, the tiniest one, and I want to come in and I just want to get some of these places. Right in here was one of them. I want to get in a little deeper there. And we're going to test this out. Sometimes you have to go from the other side too to get it, like if it gets stuck in there. And remember, we're not going for perfection here, especially, if this is your first one or, this is something kind of small. So we're just going for good enough. All right, good enough. All right, I think that might be all I need to clean that up. And we will know once we test it. So, all right. I already see I've got a little guy there. Now, I'm going to let that be for the time being. Once I make a stamp impression of it, I will know where I need to get around there a little bit more. But for right now, I'm just going to leave it. And give me just a second. I need a sip of my coffee. Good to the last drop. Okay. I don't even know who was that. That was some coffee commercial from way back when. Probably aging myself big time right now. Now I'm going to go ahead and take number 3. This is a little bigger because I want to clean up. All right, so I've got the butterfly mainly carved out, right? You can see that we've got some, it's raised up now, but I need to get rid of all of this white. So I have a choice. I could totally cut the white off completely and just have the little butterfly. I generally tend to prefer, personally, having more of a stamp to hold on to versus cutting the whole image out where I would just have the anchor. I like to have a little bit to hold on to. You can see that I'm not really particular with how it looks at the end. I'm not selling these, y'all. These are for my personal use, and I think it adds a little bit of character when they're not perfect. So that's what I tell myself. And all I'm going to do is come around, and I'm trying to make sure I get all of this lower than my butterfly. And that becomes important when we go to carve it or stamp it. Sorry. So we're going to just carve it out. Do the best you can, but don't get too concerned about it because it generally takes me 2 or 3 times of cleanup. I call it cleaning up at the end where I stamp and I'm like, "Ooh, got to get some more off." Now we do have a thinner stamp here, so just be careful when you're getting this off. It does move the rubber polymer. Is polymer the same as rubber? I don't think so. I think it's different. Anyway, whatever it is, it moves it around a little bit. So we don't want to break off what we've done. So just be aware that as you're carving, if you start seeing it move too much, this part of it, you might need to hold down the wing or carve from a different direction. Okay. I don't worry about it being pretty. I am not concerned at all that I have all these ridges. I actually think it looks kind of cool. I feel like it looks really artsy, right? Where you start getting all these little grooves and ridges. It's like you can totally see where the carving took place. Hoping that shows up well for you to see. So I'm carefully going through because, again, I do not want to get my wing. I don't want to carve my wing off. I'm just going to keep going and going. You can see once you get the initial image carved, it actually goes pretty quickly. You can do a stamp in a fairly short amount of time for some of the smaller ones. Now, if you get more intricate, obviously it's going to take longer. Something that's cool, just as a little aside, if you really get into stamping, you could even take artwork that you made, do a line drawing like a tracer, right? But in a smaller size, well, actually they have stamps that are big, but you probably want to do something a little smaller. And you could actually carve out your art that you made. You could carve your signature. You could do an alphabet stamp set like I did. You could do emojis. Like there's all kinds of cool stuff you can do. If you want to go down a rabbit hole, just use hashtag stamp carving on Instagram. Oh my goodness. It is amazing. Okay. So I've got most of it carved. I already know I'm going to have to clean up, but let's see what this is looking like, shall we? Let's just see what we have going on so we know what to do next. I'm going to use, I think this color will show up well for you guys. So let me do this. So this is a chance that you can really see what you have going on. And actually, it's looking pretty good. I'm not going to have too many extras going on around here, I don't think. I'm going to push down evenly and then I'm going to bring it up. Whoops. I think I smudged it. Let me try that again. Now we're just doing the basic shape. Remember, once you stamp this down, you can go in on your artwork with markers and whatnot and do some cool stuff on it. So here's my general shape of it. And it looks like a butterfly. You know, we definitely get that feel of it. But I'm looking at it and I think I want to get a little fancier. And I still have my marks on here. This color, if you're liking it, is called Barn Door. These usually come in a set like of 3 or 4 of them. I don't remember which ones came with that because I bought a couple sets at the same time. All right, so I'm actually going to carve out a little bit inside of my butterfly. So the first thing that I see, I'm super excited because I don't really have any of the white marks show, or what am I saying? The outside of the butterfly. There's no mark showing. Sometimes you'll get ridges showing around it and there's none on that. So I'm super excited about that. I'm going to take my thinnest, my number 1 blade again. I'm going to insert that back in, tighten it up like we've been doing. All right. So the first thing I want to do is I do see, even though it didn't show up, I do see a little bit of ink on my white here. So I do want to pull that off because I like it to be nice clean. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to very carefully carve the outline of my butterfly. I'm concentrating right now, so I got quiet all of a sudden. Takes me back to watching Bugs Bunny and the hunter. Be very, very quiet. I'm carving stamps. Because, of course, we're rabbits. Wabbits. All right. Let's see what happens now. Let's get a little of that. Let's see how that looks. And then we're going to go ahead. Yeah, I like that better. I feel like that gives a little bit more definition. But I feel like I want to take this off now. What do you think? I think carve that off, yes? Let's do it. I think the rest looks pretty good. The wings are a little wonky, but you know, it's a handmade stamp, right? It's something that we are making, we are carving. So sometimes it's going to be a little wonky and that's going to be okay. All right, I could totally use this one, but it's going to take me forever. So let's go ahead and get, I think this is the number 2. Yes. I'm going to pop that in. I do want to point out, so sometimes when you first start using this, you'll go to try to put these in and you can't get it in. It's like, what the heck, man? It's not going in, like it's stuck. When you look inside here, and I don't know that it's going to show up real well, but you will see that there's a little, I think it's a ball bearing in there. There's like a little round thing in there. And on one side, it's really thin. Like if I get all the way in here, let's see, like right here. Whoops, sorry. And I don't know how well this is showing up, but like right in here, there's a thin one that moves. And then on this side, it's a little thicker. So what you want to do is you go in on the side where it's thinner, and you want to put that really thin one, you want to put this right against the ball, that little ball bearing, and that thin piece of metal gets pushed back. So that thin piece of metal gets pushed into the barrel here, and that's how you get it to set in. If you're trying to do it on the outside, it won't work. If you're trying to do it on the side where it's thicker, it's just not going to work. And I did not know this when I first got this. I had to learn this on my own. So you just pop it in there. It goes in super easy. If it's not going in easy, it's either too tight here or you're putting it in on the wrong side. So I hope that you could see that. It's hard for me to see in the camera how well that showed up, but just know that we've got the round, I'm going to call it a ball bearing. It might not be, y'all. I don't know my hardware like that. But let's see, can we get it? I don't think it's showing up clear. My camera won't zoom in on it. But you can see that round ball in there, and just know that there's a thin piece of metal on one side, a thicker piece on the other. You want this on the thin piece between the thin piece and the ball bearing. It goes right in there. Super easy. And once you've done it a couple times, you just do it without even thinking. All right, so back to our stamp. I'm going to very carefully put the groove of this right next to my butterfly body and carve off that red, that barn door. I'm going to do this very slow and careful because I do not want to take the body off. I don't want to take any of the stuff that I'm trying to keep off, right? So take your time with it. I think it's working out well, y'all. Okay, y'all. My family, I'm from the Midwest originally, but I've been in Florida forever and a day at this point in my life, like probably close to half my life. I think I've been in Florida. And they always laugh when they hear me say y'all. Y'all. But that is how I roll these days. Okay, so I'm going to stamp another time. I'm going to look at it. I'm loving how this is looking. But when I see this, I see like right here, I want to take this off, and right here, I want to clean this up. And this is what I'm saying. You usually stamp a couple of times to get it to how you want it. And that's normal. That's normal. I'm sure there's people who do this all the time that can whip it out and not have to worry about that, but I still have to test it. A little more coffee to fuel me. And now I'm going to, you can see why if you're doing this often, you might want to have 2 or 3 of these. And I actually, now that I said that, I think you can buy just the base on Amazon. If anybody knows for sure, let me know in the comments. But I think you can buy only a base, which would be really handy to have, 5 bases total, and then you would just have them. I know one of my other sets that my husband got me for Christmas, it's a micro one, so you can do super, it like makes this look fat. Like they're so tiny, it's crazy. That one, they all come on their own wooden handle. So it's not, it's a different type of set. But I do think you can buy these individually. I don't know why I've never done that. Now that I say that, I'm like, oh, maybe I need to go on Amazon and do some shopping because I ever need encouragement for that. Does anybody else have an Amazon buying issue? Actually, I don't have an issue. I do it quite well. That might be the issue. All right, now I am purposefully keeping this fairly simple and fairly generic. You could, if you wanted, you could get into doing designs in the wings. You could do different shape. There's like so much you can do with this. But I wanted to keep it simple, especially for those of you, if you've not done stamp carving before, I really encourage you to keep it simple and well, anything is doable for you, even complex ones. But keep it simple so you can do it fairly quickly, and not feel frustrated by it. Have a quick win. And then once you feel comfortable with it, then, go to town and do some of the crazy elaborate ones. There's so much cool stuff with stamp carving. It is definitely something I have come to enjoy. All right. I think this is going to be our last one here. Let's see how we turn out. I feel good about that. I feel good. I think that turned out nice. How fun is that? We went from this to this to this one to this one. And is it perfect? No, it sure is not perfect. But do I care? No, I really don't. I'm actually pretty excited about it. Now, if you want to get fancy, go ahead, take your thin one. You can carve like some circles or designs. I want to leave it like this because I feel like for what I want to create, it is going to give me more options. So I want to put these away so I don't lose them. I always tighten this up at the end. Put my blades back in. It's always a success when you end with all of your digits intact. Oh, I got them all. So exciting. All right. And then I'm just going to set this aside because I do not need this right now. I will worry about cleaning that up later. So now let's grab our art journal page that we started a little earlier. I'm going to pull this up now so we can see a little bit more. All right. Just a little bit more. There we go. Everybody see okay? I think we can see well. So I want to go ahead and I'm going to use a little bit. Oh, Temu, you know what? How do you like Temu, Cindy? I haven't tried it. I had an issue with Wish. I was using Wish for a while, if you're familiar with that. And somebody got my credit card from there and charged like a huge amount of money on it. I was able to get it all cleaned up and rectified and everything, which is great. But like I never used it after that. I was like, they have some security leaks and I had issues getting in touch with anyone. Anyway, it was a thing. So I've been very reluctant to use Temu. I don't even know if I'm saying it right. Temu. But I know a lot of people are using it. Are you liking it? Have you been happy with what you've been getting? Inquiring minds want to know. Okay, so we are making our micro art now. Hopefully Tara Lynn will allow this to be micro art. I think so. It's 5.5 by like 8.5. So it's definitely smaller than any of the canvases that we traditionally use. I think she'll be okay with that. And I want to do a quote on here, I think. Dream big, work hard, and make it happen. All things are possible if you believe. All right, y'all, I need help. I can't make a decision. What one should I do? Do amazing things. Let's see. Oh, I also have quotes here, but I'm actually feeling more like maybe one of these. I like the art on these. So what do we think? Dream big, work hard, make it happen. All things are possible if you believe. I feel like this would be really pretty on here. Cindy says, I just received my 4th order and have not had a problem. One thing I needed to return, but they said, just give it away and then credited my account. Wow, that's amazing. And you're getting everything in a fairly timely manner. That's just really cool. It's good to know. Thank you for sharing that. I'm needing to get some like book lights, like the double ones for my parties. Maybe I'll check and see if they have something like that on Temu. Okay, so I'm going to use this one. I'm not sure. I might like round it out or cut apart. I'm not sure yet, but I know I want to use that. And then, by the way, when I do my digital art packs, when I print them out, because I love using the digital art for my art journals, I always put them in these, what are these, sheet protectors? And then I keep them in like a file type thing all together, so that they stay organized and I don't end up with paper everywhere. Okay. I still have paper everywhere between you and I. Don't tell anybody. Shh. I have stuff everywhere. But at least my art journal kits stay together. So there you have it. Just being real and honest in the moment. Okay, so that's just a little tip. So I want to go, this is a sticker, which I'm great with, but I want to use, I think, let's see. I feel like my color was a little off when I printed, but then I thought I don't actually care. I am sorry, I'm auditioning them. So do y'all do that when you do your art? You audition your pieces, kind of hold them up and see what you like. Kind of feeling this right now. I'm going to go ahead and cut this one out. 10 days is not bad. It's actually not bad at all. So now these you can use however you want. I'm just cutting, this is like just a piece of torn paper. Do you love that I'm cutting out torn paper? My husband thinks this is the funniest thing ever. It's like, don't make fun of me. He's like, it's torn paper and you're cutting it out. I'm like, I know, stop. It's an artistic choice. All right, so we're going to just take this, set that aside. And what I'm thinking is I'm going to put this here and then we will stamp a couple of butterflies around it and call it a day. I like that. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of do a little wiggling around here just to give a little bit of visual interest. I like the organic shapes. All right, and let's use, I've got a glue stick right by my hand, so that's what I'm going to use. I also love to use gel medium in my books as well, but this is what I had close to me, so let's use that. I've got this silicone mat that I'm creating on this pink colored thing underneath. Y'all, if you do not have one of these, I highly recommend them. You can get them on Amazon, probably on Temu also. Cindy can let us know. She's the Temu expert extraordinaire. I'm going to glue that down. But it's really nice because it's a mess right now. I need to get in there and clean it off. But this will just come right off. A lot of it peels off if I have, thicker strips like this. You can see this just peels right off. Toss it. So a lot of this will peel off, and then some of the thinner ones, I just rinse it underwater and it comes clean really, really quick and easy, which I love. Okay, so we've got that. Let's go ahead, and this is a sticker. I told you I did some of these on sticker sheets. Love this. Is it cheating? I don't know. I think it's brilliant. My friend Deborah gave me this idea when I first started doing the art journal kit. She's like, why don't you do it where it's, on a sticker and then you can just stick it down. You don't even need glue. I'm like, oh my goodness. Yes, Deborah. Yes. I could have done that with that one too, but I did not. Okay. So now we have this. Now I want to go through, I like adding a little mark making on mine. We are just over an hour on our thing. So look at that, is not bad for putting this together. So I want to start, I like just personally adding a little border around mine. I'm a scribble girl. I love the organic feel of the scribbles. I love the energy it gives. It's kind of something I just enjoy doing. I just do little scribbles in there, and then that makes me happy. And then I might just add some little lines in here. Now, if you have more time, you can like go to town and color in and do all kinds of cool stuff with this. I'm just going to do, I want this to be a quick and easy one for me. One of my goals this year is to work in my art journal every day. I did really well for January and February. March was a little bit of a challenging month for me personally. So I had some other stuff going on. So I did not get in here every single day. But that's okay. You know, part of challenging yourself, we're not going to get it perfect. And part of the challenge is being okay with that and knowing that even if we don't do it perfect, we're doing more than if we didn't set the challenge at all, right? So I'm going to go ahead and come around here. I want to bring this out a little bit. I'm going to kind of go around and then I love the lines intersecting and crossing over each other and like that. So that just kind of lets that pop a little bit, which makes me super happy. All right, and then let's just do, actually, you know what? I think I'm going to leave that. Let's do a little minimalizing today. I think that that's good. I'm going to add few little things in here though, tie it in. I like when I'm adding elements that somehow they connect together, right? So by adding some of these black lines with the paper, the foundation paper, as well as my little paper here, I feel like it just pulls it together a little bit. And then while I'm at it, actually, let's do some of our butterflies first. Okay, so I've got my butterfly stamp. I do not want the red on this. Y'all, I need help deciding on a color. And I am not, you know what? I don't know how it's going to stamp on here. So here's what I'm going to do. I've got my page over here that I used. I'm going to use this as my like testing page. Okay. And I'm not going to worry because when I come back through, I'm going to paint over it all. So it's not going to matter what's on here. I do this a lot in my journals. I just play on a page and then eventually I make something out of it and life is good. All right. I don't think I want the orange and the red. I'm not feeling that. And I feel like, these blues might be interesting for some background colors. Let's see. Let's see how that looks. Ooh, I kind of like that. That's sort of cool, right? A little monochromatic action going on. I like that. Okay. So this is a definite maybe. This is my faded jeans. Set that aside. I need to get my journals back out and work on them. Right, Cindy? Yeah. You should come into if you're not already in it, I've got a mixed media art journaling free group that I do prompts every week in there, and I do different tutorials occasionally in there, and people share their artwork from their journals. And it's primarily focused on art journaling. So there's some really fun stuff going on in there. You might enjoy that. That purple is working out nice too, I think. Okay, that could give a whole different look for us. So what is that? That is Dusty Concord. I like that. Let's try this fossilized amber. I'm curious on that. I feel like this isn't going to show up as well, but I don't know. These inks are pretty intense, so maybe. Yellow colors tend to be more transparent than some of the other colors out there, but let's see what happens. Oh, I mean, that's not bad. It's all right. I don't love it. I'm not going to use it today, but that's good to know. It's actually pretty pretty intense coloring. All right, let's try the picked raspberry. Ooh, let's put that on my hand first. Oh, thanks, Cindy. If you need the link or you need help with that, just let me know and I will hook you up. All right, let's try our picked raspberry. Ooh, you guys, I think that's going to be a winner. Definitely like that one. I might just leave this page like this and throw a quote on it and call it a day. It's one of the things I love about art journaling. If you haven't done art journaling before, or you're like, what are you talking about? What is art journaling? One of the things that's really cool about it is you really can, it's for me, it's my playground. It's where I go to try things out and play around and have fun. And it's not that I don't do serious art in there, but it's mainly for me. It's not to sell, it's not to show. I mean, I do share it. I share it all over social media, but that's, because that's what I do. That's what I do with Inner Journey Studios. But it's really about exploring myself and my life. I could think I kind of like the Mermaid Lagoon even better than the Faded Jeans. So I'm going to pull that out. Thinking, and I don't think I love the purple. Right now, I think I really love these two. We're going to try this green peeled paint. We're going to audition this one, but I feel like this is not going to be a winner. Sorry, Faded Green or picked, what is this one? Peeled paint. Sorry, peeled paint. Yeah, I don't love that one for this. I like the color, just not for this. All right, y'all might see this page again. I may just throw a quote and a few things on it and see what happens. Okay, so we have narrowed it down. I'm going to use both of these. And I like these butterflies flying around, and I think I'm going to do basically the same thing over here with my butterflies. I think I'm going to do some in the blue and then some in the pink, picked raspberry and Mermaid Lagoon, if you are watching the colors. Now, this is something I learned recently. I've always been kind of like whatever when I do stamps. But recently I was watching a tutorial and somebody was saying, always bring the stamp to, or always bring the pad, the ink to your stamp. And I have to say, it kind of makes sense because I really see that I can get an even coverage with the ink versus versus when I go like this trying to get it. So I think there might be some truth to that. All right, let's start down here. And I'm going to do it, a few times. I like getting that little echo in there. All right, and then let's do a couple more of this, and then we'll do the pink. And because I've got the intense one down there, I'm going to put it up here this time, the first stamp, just so it's in a different spot. All right. And I love having those little echoes of the stamp there. Another little coffee break. And then, I'm going to just because I can, I'm going to just do a few little scrapes of the stamp on there just to pull that color in. And look at how nice that helps to tie this in. So now we don't just have a piece of paper floating there. Now we've got, it ties in with the rest. It has a connection. And I can't stop. Stop. Okay. So now we're done with Mermaid Lagoon. I love this color, by the way. This is one I've used before. It is probably my favorite. I don't have favorites, but if I did, that would be one. I love you too, picked raspberry. It's okay. I don't want them to get jealous. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and we're going to use some of our picked raspberry. All right, we've got some holes in that one. That's all right. Let me wipe that off. I don't know why the ink, you can see the ink didn't get, it's okay. It gives some extra texture and I'm okay with that, but I'm curious as to why that happened. I suspect it has to do with probably how I put the ink on it. All right, let's see if I did better this time. Or there might have been some debris on there. Okay. That one is too. Okay, not sure what's going on, but you know, I'm pretty loosey-goosey about my stuff, so I'm going to be okay with this. I think that is all the ink I can get off. What do we think so far? Isn't this fun? I really like this page. This is making me so happy. And actually is going with this other one, so I might have to do something on that page. All right, and you know, I'm going to do the same like I did with the mermaid. I'm going to just bring a little of this raspberry in there. Just so that we have, it's not just with the butterflies, we just have a little bit coming in. And then, because I can't leave it alone, I'm going to take a thin brush and I'm just going to touch in a little bit. I'm not going to do everything. I'm going to take a little of this pink. And just bring in a couple of these petals. And this is just my acrylic paint, my acrylic craft paint. This one is electric pink. It's what I had near me, so I just went ahead and grabbed it. I'm not going to do all of them. I just want to add a little bit of painting in here. I think that that is actually pretty good. And I'm just going to add a little bit in some other areas. Again, I'm not like really adding a lot. I just want to tie it in so it's not like, oh, where'd that come from? Surprise. All right, and then, because I love sparkles, and I feel like sparkles just go with butterflies. So let's see, where do I want to put my sparkles? I just want to cover the whole thing with sparkles. Let's do a couple of the butterflies with sparkles. Let's start there. Now this is waterproof, so as long as it's dry, we should be just fine putting something like this over it. Oh yeah. That's what we needed, right? We needed some sparkles. Everything's better with glitter. Now these I love using. This is the Craft Twinkles by Deco Art. And my favorite is the crystal. It does come in different colors, but I love the crystal. I feel like it goes with pretty much anything. I'm just gonna touch it there a little bit. So pretty. And then we'll do one more here. And with this, I just keep dipping in to make sure that I'm getting sparkles. Otherwise, you end up with the sparkles get all used like up here, and you end up with just clear paint. And then let's do, I feel like let's just do a little bit of sparkles around here. Now with when you've got copies made like this was copied from my printer, and you're going to put something like this over it, these sparkles, you want to be very ginger about how you do that, very careful, because sometimes the moisture from the paint can activate the ink that was used and cause it to run. So I'm very careful. I can see like a little of the blue is starting to lift. I'm not going to worry too much about it. It goes very well with the colors we're using. Obviously it works, but I also don't want to like overdo it, because I don't want this to end up being, you know, a murky mess, or where it just isn't, you can't see the design and stuff anymore. So let's add a little bit more on here. And then I need to stop. I love sparkles. I could, like, honestly glitter this whole page, and that would make me so happy. But I'm not going to. I'm trying to do like less is more. All right. And let's just go through, create a little bit of interest in here. I like putting like little lines or little blocks of color in these little borders, because I think it really helps it to pop. I will give you a close-up in just a moment of this, because we are almost done. I hope you all enjoyed this today. If you're watching in replay, just put a hashtag replay. Let me know you're watching it. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel and my Facebook page. Let's be friends all over the internet. It's so much fun. I love following other people and getting ideas and inspiration and chatting with you all. So please, please, please reach out. Don't be a stranger. Okay. So here we are. We've got our butterflies. You can see around the border, I've got a little bit of detail going on. We've got our butterflies. And let's see if we can get that in there. Sorry, it's a little hard the way that my camera's set up, but there we go. Dream big, work hard, make it happen. Gotta love that. And then of course we've got our border. There we go. And we've got, can you see the glitter on there? So much fun. All right, let me just flip over. There I am. I'm back. Hello, hello. Thank you for being with me today. Whether you're watching live or on replay, I am so grateful to have you here. And I am sending you tons of butterfly wishes. And I hope that this was something that inspires you to create your own, whether you do it just like mine or you do your own thing. Remember, Tara Lynn, if you are doing the butterfly bingo in April of 2023, Tara Lynn can hook you up with the swag bag once you've reached your bingo. And in that, one of the things will be the Butterfly Vibes Art Journal Kit. So I hope that you will take advantage of that. If you are watching this anytime after and you're like, oh my gosh, I need the Butterfly Vibes Art Journal Kit in my life, reach out to me. I am sure that I can hook you up with something to help make your art journal fabulous. Thank you for being here. We did our stamp. We came, we carved, we made art. Fabulous. There it is. So thank you for those of you that stuck with me this whole time. Oh my gosh, love you. Thank you for being with me this whole time. Those of you that popped in and out, love you also. Thank you for being part of this. And if you are watching on replay, oh my gosh, so grateful to have you joining us. Tag me, hashtag Inner Journey Studios, or at Inner Journey Studios if you want me to see your art, and I hope you do. I love seeing what you all create, and I hope to see lots of carved stamps in the group. Thank you for being here. Love you. Remember to like, subscribe, comment, all the good stuff. And I will see you again soon for some more art making. Bye-bye.